If you've got a few quiet hours after work, after school, or after the kids have gone to bed, and you want an easy side hustle that's going to pay you well, then this video is for you. I'm going to break down 5 high quality side hustles that you can start at night that require no experience and no degree. All you need is your laptop and the determination to follow this video exactly, and you can make real money while the rest of the world is asleep. Now, a lot of side hustle videos are regurgitated rubbish that always sound better than they actually are, which is why I'm going to give real life examples of people who are crushing it, and I'll be ranking them based on the time it takes to set up, how easy it is to earn the first $1,000, and how scalable they are after you launch. These pillars I'm going to rank 1 to 5, easiest through hardest, to help you decide which one suits you. Let's not waste any more time and get straight into it. So side hustle number 1 is building and selling digital products. This is one of the smartest ways to earn passive income right now, and it's only getting bigger. In fact, the digital product market is projected to reach approximately $123 billion in 2025, and it's expected to grow much further by 2030. And that kind of growth tells you everything you need to know about the opportunity ahead. The beauty of this side hustle is there is endless flexibility with what you create. You could create a prompt guide for AI tools, a personal finance tracker, a simple ebook, or a digital planner, even a workout guide. And you could build these anywhere at any time, which is why I think it works so well as a nighttime side hustle. Whatever the skill, the process, or the piece of knowledge that you have, the chances are that there is someone who wants to learn that. And if you give them a structured way to do it, you create value. One great example here is Tatiana, who's made $17,000 in just 1 year by posting digital products on Etsy. Now, this may not sound like a lot compared to the gurus who say they make this in a week. However, these numbers are legitimate, and they are far more realistic, as Tatiana does not have a huge following and explicitly says she's not a content creator. I think therefore this is perfect for those who aren't in content creation and simply want to make something and make some extra income in the evening. So firstly, on the time required to build a digital product, I would rank this a 4. This is because if you already have the knowledge or the tool that you're creating around, building a product can take as little as a few focused days. For most people working at night, 1 to 2 weeks is a realistic launch timeframe. This would include research, creation, packaging of the resource, and then setting up a sales page. For how easy it is to make your first $1,000, I'd give this a 3. Now, of course, you do have to keep in mind there is a huge amount of competition out there. But if you can build your own audience, even on a small degree, on a particular social platform, and work on a clear positioning strategy, it becomes much easier. If you think about it logically, however, all you need to do is sell a $20 product 50 times to make $1,000. For scalability, I would rank this a 4, primarily because you create it once and then you can sell it over and over and over again with virtually no additional cost. This can scale even further if you build out your audience size and create the right funneling strategies and marketing. However, it's unlikely to become a massive business, but I do know lots of people who run 7-figure digital product businesses who also have a great amount of freedom in their lives. Side hustle number 2 is content curation. Now, unlike content creation, you do not have to create anything new here. It is simply taking content that has previously performed really well, repackaging it, and building out social media pages. You can then earn money through platform revenue and sponsorships. The best part here is you can do this across multiple different platforms. For example, there's a young man called Musa who went from editing YouTube videos at 14 years old for $40 to $100 to realizing the power of clipping content from streamers and re-uploading it to TikTok. Because TikTok will pay creators based on their organic views, within the space of 2 years, he built hundreds of pages that are generating him hundreds of thousands a month. Now, this is becoming more saturated. However, from my perspective, you could build lots of pages here and give yourself leverage. 1, you can make sponsorship revenue. 1, you can make platform revenue. But 2, if you're working in the AI space, AI consultants and AI companies will want to work with you to shout them out. And so there's lots of different opportunities there. And if you decide at a later stage that you want to create content for brands, or you want to release digital products, or whatever else it might be, you have the launch pad to do that. You've built your own distribution. And so I think this one really has a huge knock-on effect on creating leverage. It's a bit like creating a personal brand, but you're creating your own distribution out there with these faceless pages. So to rank this side hustle, I would give it a 5 for time, as there are now so many tools that you can use to get started and cut down the process. For example, like Opus Clips or Creo AI, which uses AI to suggest the most viral moments in long form content. So it just makes editing and posting so much easier. So for generating your first $1,000, I'd probably give this a 1, as it can take time to reach the stage where your content starts generating revenue, especially with platform requirements like you need 10,000 followers or 100,000 authentic views to get paid by TikTok. So I feel like this one takes a little bit longer. In terms of scalability, I'd rank this a 4, because if you can understand what high performing content looks like and how you can create it, the upside is genuinely massive. Again, you are unlikely to build a massive business, but I know people who generate 7 figures in this space. Side hustle 3 is video editing. If you're someone who's creative and detail orientated, video editing is one of the most in-demand side hustles out there right now. I know so many business owners who are just getting into the content game, and an editor is the first person they're looking for as a team member. As an example, I recently started working with an editor who's still in university in Pakistan. He saw that I had a podcast. He created a really high quality trailer for one of my episodes off his own back. He pitched it to me in a cold DM on LinkedIn. The quality was so good, we took him on part-time, and we've been sending him podcast episodes the last 3 months that he's been editing. So if you're looking to go into this, I would recommend taking a very similar approach. Learn the skill for free on YouTube, become very fast and efficient at it, and start reaching out to creators. My top tip here would be find creators who are on the up and coming, because they are much more likely to want to work with you. And once you've found them, within the pitch, share your improved version of their content and spend time explaining why this new edit will be better for them than their current work. And make sure you're providing the data. For time to get started, I would rank this probably a 1, which is the longest on the list, simply because it actually takes a lot of time and effort to build these high quality skills. There are millions of very average editors and only a small percentage of really phenomenal ones. The real skill is understanding why a video will hold the attention. If you can learn that, your editing will become 10 times better. So it's those that can have positive business outcomes that are going to be the best editors. The editors I look for are the ones that understand the video, what the audience are looking for, how to edit it in a way that's exciting and keeps people engaged, and then fundamentally how to deliver on the business objective. For how easy this is to make $1,000, I would probably give this a 4. If you're charging $100 per video edit, you need 10 clients. If you're charging $250, you need 4 clients. And trust me, there are creators and businesses everywhere looking for help. So what really helps here is being proactive. And if you can show your value through previous work, through sample work, you are likely to get gigs when others won't. If you find entrepreneurs and business owners who are looking to create content, they are looking for high quality work that is reliable and saves them time. So if you can be an editor that creates incredible outcomes and saves someone time, trust me when I say this, entrepreneurs will spend a fortune on hiring editors like this. For scalability, I would rank this a 2. Editing is a skill that requires a lot of your time. And to make good money, you've got to be putting in a lot of good time, and you've got to work with good clients, and you've got to do it consistently. It doesn't make it impossible to scale. Like, you can train yourself to become very fast, have higher prices, and work on the best opportunities. But I do think that there comes a point where selling time for money becomes non-scalable. However, as I'll talk about later, you can combo this skill with lots of other things. Side hustle 4 is becoming a copywriter, and not just any copywriter, it's becoming a high value copywriter, one that positions themselves in the right places. There are millions of copywriters on sites like Upwork, and so to make money much faster, you have to understand 2 core things. Firstly, there are certain tasks that will generate you more income for less time. For example, if you're a copywriter who focuses on specific landing page copy optimization, you are going to charge far more than someone who writes a basic blog. Secondly, you have to understand that certain people or industries will pay higher for a piece of work than others. Therefore, it's incredibly important to make sure that you figure out which customers are paying the most and how to target them. A good example here is if you go onto Fiverr and you select the Pro catalog, you will see hundreds of writers who are charging very high hourly rates for specific copywriting tasks. So Rachel here, for example, charges £257 an hour and has 505 reviews saying she's completed the work to a good standard. What I would do here is I would check out all the specific words they are using to target premium customers. For example, seasoned copywriter or medical writer. You will then have a much better idea which types of copywriting are in demand and also how to set up an account with a premium customer and a premium price in mind. When it comes to ranking, I would give this a 2 for time, primarily now because you have a huge advantage as a copywriter in that there is ChatGPT. You can now use previous examples of very high performing copy, collate it into a custom GPT, and with some good prompts, build out the bulk of your copy structure, which will save hundreds of hours of time. The majority of the time here will actually be spent in research to figure out which customers are trying to target and what specifically are the key formats that are high performing within that area. For how easy it is to make $1,000, I would rank this a 3. The hardest part will be getting the experience within these targeted spaces. As to land the higher ticket clients, they are more likely wanting to see your previous work and your results. So once you have a few examples of work within that niche that has worked super well before, it may only take you 1 or 2 projects to hit that $1,000 mark, which in my opinion is still pretty easy. For scalability, I would rank this a 4. If you do this well, there are a lot of options for you to scale. Firstly, you could turn it into a copywriting agency with a particular focus on a specific niche. You could also build out some very strong GBTs where you upload all of your work and smartly use AI to increase your speed of work. And in turn, this will increase your own capacity. There is also an opportunity to help other copywriters land clients once you become very good at it, meaning there could be other digital products and offers that you could build within this. And finally, we're on to side hustle 5, which is becoming a thumbnail designer. Now, like in previous examples, this is a skill which is graphic design with a very specific target audience, those who post on YouTube. Now, due to the importance of thumbnails on video performance, this is a skill that is very high leverage. Like when I was 21, I was a social media writer and designer, and therefore I really rate this one as you can learn a huge amount about designing to force customers to take an action. Not only this, because of the returns YouTube generates through ads, it often means that creators and entrepreneurs are willing to pay a lot for this. But again, there are thousands of very average thumbnail designers who charge lower rates. So my important tip here is, especially if you're going to go from scratch, is to find creators who are on the rise, those who perhaps are doing their own thumbnails but will be losing a lot of time to it and not performing as well as they could. I would aim to approach these creators right away and ask them if they want their next 3 thumbnails for free. So study what high performing thumbnails are working. To be honest, with YouTube, there are so many formats that are used time and time again. So the more you research, the more you will start to figure this out. This will then build you up a portfolio of results, and you can reach out to larger creators for higher rates. So make sure you collect the click-through rate percentages that you're achieving with your work. And a great example of this is Dill Thomas, who makes $5,000 to $6,000 a month working for multiple different clients across YouTube. The crazy part is he didn't even come from a design background. He just obsessed over YouTube and experimented with his own thumbnails as a kid. So after working on this skill throughout high school, he built a client base of people, and now he is one of the most in-demand thumbnail designers out there. To rank this on time, I would say it's a 3. I think mastering the basics of design can be quite tricky, but a lot of thumbnails now honestly only have 1 or 2 elements, meaning that the focus is usually thumbnail ideation, as the creation time isn't that intensive anymore. For time to make your first 1,000, I'd rank it a 4. It might take a little bit more time to develop the skill, find the right clients, but the top thumbnail designers are charging about $300 per thumbnail, which means packages of 3 could get you $1,000 quite quickly, which in reality means that you only need a few clients and then you can make $1,000 quite easily. For scalability, I'd give it a 3. Like copywriting, as a core skill, it might be quite challenging to scale this up to a point. You could hire lots of different people, you could have a team doing it, you would need a lot of clients, you'd need a lot of volume. And so I would say it's like scalable to a point. you could definitely build a decent business paying you a very good income, but I don't think this is a scalable, big business. The important thing I will say after 15 years of entrepreneurship is each of these skills can be an incredible side hustle. Each of them can be an incredible thing that you do in the evening that makes you extra capital. However, when you think about how they are complementary to each other, how learning design and learning what works for customers is such a key point. The next step is like, if I learn what works for customers, I understand how to build small products and I understand distribution. Quite quickly, you'll be able to create yourself a business that is highly leveraged in your favor, in that you're able to demand high prices, you have relatively cheap distribution, and so you can then create these beautiful businesses that have lots of free organic traffic that comes in. You can sell a product here, or you can sell a service. And so the game of entrepreneurship is a long game. You start with something simple, you learn the skill, then you see something else, you're like, oh, I can apply this skill, learn this skill. And before long, when you look at a product or a service or a business, you are able to put the pieces together. And so my advice to anyone is start now, start small, learn the thing, and the path will reveal itself as you walk down it. You will learn more and more about different businesses and different models, and you might go from making a couple $100 extra an evening to finding a real sustainable and scalable business model. So if you're ever sat in the quiet of the evening thinking you're meant to be doing more, I hope this video gives you some clarity and some inspiration to take action. Each of these 5 side hustles can be started without a degree, without loads of money, and most importantly, without needing to quit your job or change routine. You just need to use those quiet hours more intentionally, because while everyone else is winding down, you could be quietly building something that changes everything. So if you've enjoyed this content, please give the video a like, give me a comment, and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you enormously. So check out my other videos on building businesses and creating content.